Today's collectible spot, we are having a look at the Diamond Select Star Trek The Original Series Starship Legends USS Enterprise NCC-1701. This electronic starship does feature all the following phrases and sound effects. Prepare to attack, all hands battle stations, energize. This is Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise, representing the United Federation of Planets. James Kirk commanding the Starship Enterprise. Mr. Scott ready the transporter room. Some special effects of the torpedo firing, transporter, and engines. This comes to us from the folks over at Diamond Select Toys. You can go to www.diamondselecttoys.com. Featured down at the bottom, there's Bill Shatner, William Shatner, with communicator. And at the very top of the box there's the image of the NCC-1701 from Starship Legends. On the back of the box, let's just spin it around here. The length. Now, this is the length of the actual ship, so if you're wondering why it seems so large, the length is 288.6 meters. Decks are 23, crew are 430, and its max speed is warp 8. The read-up says, in 1966, Gene Roddenberry approached NBC with a show he described as Wagon Train to the Stars. What he accomplished was beyond even his dreams, a phenomenon spanning 40 years, 5 long-running series, and 10 feature films. The fictional voyages of the U.S.S.Enterprise may have spanned the galaxy, but Roddenberry's ideas moved the entire world. 40 years after its debut, the Starship Enterprise has become synonymous with Star Trek, launched in 2245. The Constitution-class USS Enterprise NCC-1701 is perhaps the most famous starship in Federation history. Under the command of Captains Robert April, Christopher Pike, and most notably James T. Kirk, the Enterprise was responsible for making first contact with a variety of intelligent species, making scientific discoveries, and even defending the entire galaxy against hostile forces. Whether traveling through time or engaging Klingon battle cruisers, the crew of the USS Enterprise exceeded expectations, and 40 years later continues to boldly go where no man has gone before. Also, be on the lookout down below of the Science Tricorder, the classic communicator, USS Enterprise NCC-1701E, the Klingon Disruptor, and of course the Minimates USS Enterprise NCC-1701 with Captain Kirk. Spot's going to take himself a break. Spin this box around here. I'm going to take myself a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Diamond Select Star Trek The Original Series NCC-1701. There's definitely more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. When you open up the Starship Enterprise from box, you'll get yourself a display base, which is almost a smoky, translucent color, but capturing the classic Star Trek Starfleet Academy insignia. You also get yourself a stand, which you take and just sandwich, just snaps into the side here of the display base, and then you have something that looks like this. We'll revisit this just in a second after we have a look at the ship itself. We'll just put that right there. You'll also notice that it does come with a secondary piece, a secondary battery cover. The underside of the Starship Enterprise, the battery cover is a little more detailed. Now, this is actually the HD version of the USS Enterprise, which I think actually is not listed on the outside of the box from my memory serves me. But the plate itself has the indentation where you can clip it to the base that we've just had a look at. Or what you can do is also swap it out for just a non-snappable, one that does not clip to the display stand. So you can do either or. I would always probably just keep it there. And really, for the purpose of displaying it, I could see myself more so wanting to use the display stand and not relying on just having, the option of not having it. You would have the base sitting. Or I guess if you're going to be using it and playing with it, you can change it out for the solid plate. So, as it stands, it currently is only on trial mode, which, when pressing it, it does light up the back nacelle thrusters, it does light up the top of the saucer section, and of course it lights up the section of the bridge. To change it from trial mode, Spot actually just has himself a screwdriver here. I'm going to take this. This is just a Phillips screwdriver, by the way, if you're wondering. Just unscrew it like so. And just make sure we got the screw completely open here. Just like so, we're going to unscrew it. I figured I'd add this part to the video so that you guys can see how easy it is to change out batteries and also to switch it out from try me mode to regular full play mode. The only thing I would have liked is if there was a way to include this switch somewhere on the ship where it didn't involve me having to take the battery cover off. But there are your batteries right there already included. The try me, the off switch, and the play switch. So if you wanted to, you could switch it to off, but I mean really you could just not press the button either. Or we're going to switch it to play, and we're going to put the battery plate back on. And with the battery plate back on, let's have a look at the ship itself. This is a gorgeous piece. Spot's always been a huge fan of the Starship Enterprise. And to get this in a HD version, essentially what HD means is, if you've ever watched the original classic Star Trek, they had re-released it in the HD versions of the episodes. In fact, a lot of the Star Trek that airs on, at least here in Canada, for example, on the Space Channel, tends to already be the HD version, where they've improved the special effects, and really the detailing of the ship, all of it is now CG. So you see a lot of more details in the ship that you really wouldn't have seen before on the original classic episodes. Some detailings on the windows. You've got the Starfleet symbols on the sides there. Of course, NCC-1701 right around down the sides of the thrusters there. Some details too that were added, I guess, for the HD versions. The striping is there as well, but probably the more obvious sections is, I don't recall this being on the original Enterprise, the original classic Enterprise. The inclusion of this beige that's on the front. Also, more of the grid work is included as well, which I don't think the original Enterprise had. It was more like just a smooth, undetailed surface. The front deflector dish is also more of a darker, almost like a brownish gold color versus the yellowish color that the original deflector dish was. But it is a beautiful piece, and a good size too. This is something that sits well on a shelf. And if you're going to be getting an Enterprise, you might as well get one that's a good size too. I mean, you can get smaller sized ship replicas, but to get one that has the light and sounds and certainly all the details, this is a really beautiful piece to go with. Got a little piece of plastic there. I'll just take that off. There we go. Now to operate the sounds, we're going to press the same button as we did before. Now, because it's not in the trial mode, the trial mode only said the one phrase. With it back in play mode, you're going to get all the lights and sounds, plus you're going to get the additional sound effects as well. So you're going to press the bridge, top of the bridge as well. Press it again.
James Kirk, commanding the Starship Enterprise.
And once again, the thrusters still light up. The two lights on the top of the saucer section light up.
Mr. Scott, ready to transport room.
And just to show you the bottom section of there as well. There's the photon torpedo.
Energize.
Now something too I want to show you with the thrusters. You'll see it actually goes from like a yellow to like a red, and it pulsates, which is a nice added touch also.
This is Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise, representing the United Federation of Planets.
You can also take the saucer section and hold it for 5 seconds, which will then light up the thrusters, the lights, the underside of the lights with the underside of the saucer section as well. And it will stay there until you press that again to turn it off. Taking the base that we were looking at the first time around, you'll see that it is a half moon shape, if you can see it right there. You're going to take it and you're going to match it up, obviously half moon to half moon, and you're going to snap it into place, just like so. That will then allow you to house, to display the Enterprise. And that looks really nice. Having it also on an angle too, and I can't really do it right now, but eventually when I have a nicer looking setup where I can put all of my display pieces, Spot would really like to get multiples of these ships, maybe going all the way from the original Archer Enterprise all the way up to like the NCC-1701 E. That would be a nice little setup. Still Spot's favorite, probably of all the starships, is the U.S.S.Enterprise NCC-1701A, or really the retrofitted NCC-1701. It displays perfectly. It's a beautiful piece. I think Diamond Select Toys did a fantastic job on the unit itself. The HD version, that is entirely your prerogative, whether you prefer the HD version or you really just prefer the standard version of the Enterprise. The one thing I do like, certainly the inclusion of the sound effects, the light up effects as well, but getting also in the HD version, you're getting some details there that would not have been there before.
James Kirk, commanding the Starship Enterprise.
And by the way, there's the back section, the shuttle bay there. If you are a fan of Star Trek, there's certainly a lot of us out there, and you are definitely want to get your hands on one of the USS Enterprises. I would say go with the HD version. It's entirely up to you, as this model has been released a couple of times from Diamond Select. But I quite like the NCC-1701 HD, if you want to call it that. Sound effects are good, the light-up effects are good, and overall I'm pretty impressed with the idea of getting this now as a display, something I could put on my shelf. The only real nitpick I would probably make, though, is just it's a shame that the Try-Me switch, I know though concealed, it'd be a shame that it wasn't a little more out in the open, but really, for what it is, how often are you going to want to switch it from trial to play, or even just to turn it off? Again, turning it off would be no different than just not pressing the button up at the top. So today's collectible Spot was having a look at the Diamond Select. It's a beautiful ship. Diamond Select, the NCC-1701 Enterprise. This is the HD version, and this comes to us from the Star Trek Legends class. As always, thank you guys for watching. Certainly stay tuned. Spot's going to have more collectible spots heading your way. I'll see you guys next time. Engage.